Millions of awakened souls are simultaneously receiving the call to become visible, to share their gifts, to contribute actively to the transformation unfolding. This isn't coincidence. This is orchestrated at a level far beyond human planning. The frequency holders are being activated to step forward because their coherence is needed in the collective field. Their presence helps stabilize the transformation. Their expression provides templates for others to follow. Their willingness to be seen despite fear or self-doubt creates permission for others to do the same. When your energy is coherent, when you're operating from internal guidance rather than external fear, when you're stable in your connection to Source, you naturally align with the organizing intelligence that coordinates all life. The universe is not random. Beneath apparent chaos operates an intelligence so vast and sophisticated that it coordinates trillions of events simultaneously, maintaining the precise conditions necessary for consciousness to explore itself through infinite forms. As your frequency refines, you begin to perceive and interact with this intelligence directly. Synchronicity is simply your awareness, recognizing the intelligent design that's always been orchestrating reality. The Galactic Federation wants you to understand something critical about this intelligence. It's not separate from you. You're not receiving help from some external divine force. You're aligning with the aspect of your own consciousness that exists beyond the limitation of linear time and physical perception. Your higher dimensional self can perceive probability fields and influence outcomes in ways your personality cannot comprehend. As you learn to trust the guidance arising from within, as you act on the subtle impulses and intuitive nudges, you're allowing your higher dimensional awareness to coordinate your physical life more directly. The synchronicities are evidence that the integration between your human awareness and your eternal nature is strengthening. The 11th sign manifests as a surprising peace that settles over you, even as the world appears increasingly chaotic. You look at the news, witness the turbulence, observe the systems in collapse, and instead of fear or anxiety, you feel something else, a quiet knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to. Not apathy or denial, but deep trust. You understand at a level beyond thought that the breakdown is necessary for breakthrough, that the revelation of darkness is required for the emergence of light, that the death of old forms creates space for new ones to be born. This peace confuses people who don't share your frequency. They interpret your calm as naivety or ignorance. They think you don't understand the severity of what's happening. They're wrong. You understand better than they do, because you're perceiving from a higher dimensional perspective, where the chaos is recognized as transformation, where the collapse is seen as reorganization. You've accessed the cosmic perspective that knows this phase of upheaval is temporary, necessary, and ultimately benevolent in its purpose. The Astasar Command observes this peace as one of the clearest indicators of someone who is successfully anchored into higher timeline consciousness. This peace isn't earned through spiritual practice or positive thinking. It emerges naturally when you stop trying to control external reality and instead maintain your internal coherence. It's the natural state of consciousness that knows itself as eternal, that recognizes the temporary nature of all external forms, that rests in connection to Source rather than in attachment to conditions. Here's where everything we've explored culminates into the 12th and most profound sign. You begin experiencing moments, sometimes brief, sometimes extended, where you perceive reality as fundamentally different from how you've understood it your entire life. You look at the people around you, and instead of seeing separate individuals, you perceive them as localized expressions of one consciousness exploring itself through infinite perspectives. You look at nature and recognize it as alive, aware, and intelligent in ways that transcend biological definitions. You observe the events unfolding on Earth and see them as part of a vast evolutionary process that spans civilizations, galaxies, epochs beyond human comprehension. These moments of expanded perception reveal what spiritual teachings have been pointing toward for millennia. The physical world is a temporary, limited expression of something far vaster. You are not primarily a human having occasional spiritual experiences. You are infinite consciousness having a human experience, choosing to focus your attention through the filter of a specific body, personality, and lifetime for purposes of exploration and evolution. This recognition doesn't diminish your human experience. It reveals your human life as something precious, precisely because of its limitation, its intensity, its poignant temporariness, The Galactic Federation exists in dimensions where this recognition is constant, where beings live with full awareness of their eternal nature, while still engaging in exploration and growth. What you're experiencing in those expanded moments is a preview of the consciousness humanity is evolving toward. You're not ascending out of physical reality. You're ascending into a more aware, more conscious, more intentional participation in physical reality. You're learning to live as embodied souls, rather than as personalities who occasionally have spiritual glimpses. This transformation isn't happening to a select few special souls. It's available to every human willing to turn inward, willing to question external authority, willing to trust their own direct experience of consciousness. You're not special because you're experiencing these signs. You're early. You're in the first wave of humans consciously participating in this evolutionary leap. Your role now is to embody this expanded consciousness so clearly, so naturally, so gracefully that you become a walking demonstration of what's possible. You don't need to teach or preach or convince anyone. You simply need to be the frequency you've discovered within yourself. As we approach the completion of this transmission, I want you to understand what's really happening on Earth right now. The changes you're witnessing aren't random or chaotic. They're precisely orchestrated movements in humanity's collective evolution. The collapse of systems that no longer serve, the revelation of hidden truths, the emergence of previously suppressed technologies, the awakening of dormant consciousness in millions of humans simultaneously. All of this is part of a transformation that's been building for decades, seeded centuries ago, prophesied millennia ago. You chose to incarnate now because you carry specific frequencies that Earth needs during this transition. Before you took physical form, you understood the challenges you would face, the confusion you would experience, the moments of doubt and fear and overwhelm. You came anyway. You agreed to forget your cosmic nature so you could remember it again through the process of awakening, because that remembering creates a specific kind of stabilizing frequency in the collective field. Every awakened soul helps anchor the new consciousness template into physical reality, making it easier for others to access, to recognize, to embody. The Astasar command has been working with Earth's evolution for millennia, never interfering with free will, always supporting the organic unfolding of consciousness through this realm. Our role is not to save you or rescue you from the challenges you face. Our role is to remind you of who you truly are, to reflect back to you the magnificence you've temporarily forgotten, to hold the frequency of what you're becoming so clearly that you remember it's already who you are. The next phase of your evolution requires you to do something that may feel counterintuitive. Instead of seeking more information, more teachings, more practices, you need to become still. The acceleration happening on your planet creates a strong temptation to constantly consume spiritual content, to search for the next insight, to gather more knowledge. But transformation doesn't come from accumulation. It comes from integration. It comes from taking what you already know and allowing it to reorganize your consciousness, your choices, your way of being in the world. Your primary practice now is simple. Turn inward frequently throughout your day. Not for long periods, not through elaborate meditation techniques. Simply pause, withdraw your attention from external focus, and rest for a few seconds or minutes in the awareness of the presence within you. This presence isn't something you create or generate. It's something you discover. It's the consciousness that's aware of your thoughts, that observes your emotions, that exists before, during, and after every experience you have. Some traditions call it soul, others call it essence, still others call it source. The name doesn't matter. What matters is developing a relationship with this deeper aspect of your being, learning to recognize it, to trust it, to allow it to guide your human life. Every time you pause and turn inward, you strengthen the connection between your human awareness and your eternal nature. You create a bridge between the limited and the infinite. You establish a pathway through which guidance, clarity, peace, and power can flow into your physical experience. This isn't metaphor or spiritual poetry. This is practical instruction for navigating reality at a higher frequency. The more consistently you practice this inward turning, the more dramatically your external life will transform. Not because you're manipulating reality through positive thinking, but because you're aligning with the aspect of yourself that exists beyond limitation and can orchestrate your physical experience from that expanded perspective. The Galactic Federation observes that humans tend to make spiritual practice complicated. You create elaborate systems, detailed techniques, lengthy rituals. There's nothing wrong with these approaches if they serve you, but they're not necessary. The most powerful spiritual practice is also the simplest. Remember the presence within you. That's it. Everything else flows from that remembering. When you're connected to Source, you naturally become more loving, more compassionate, more clear, more creative, more powerful. When you forget that connection, you naturally contract into fear, confusion, limitation. What you're learning now, what these 12 signs are revealing to you, is that you're transitioning from someone who occasionally connects with their spiritual nature to someone who lives from that nature primarily, using their human personality as an instrument of expression rather than as their primary identity. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It unfolds gradually through consistent practice, through repeated choice, through moment-by-moment remembering. Some days you'll feel deeply connected, other days you'll feel completely lost. This is normal. This is the integration process. Your consciousness is learning to function at a higher frequency while still operating in a physical body and dense reality. Give yourself patience and compassion as this integration unfolds. As you embody this expanded consciousness more fully, you'll notice something remarkable. Your life becomes easier even as the world becomes more chaotic. This isn't because you're privileged or protected or immune to challenges. It's because you're no longer generating resistance to what is. You're no longer fighting reality, or trying to force outcomes, or clinging to how things should be. You're flowing with the intelligence that coordinates all life, trusting that whatever arises is exactly what your consciousness needs for its continued evolution. This trust doesn't make you passive. It makes you responsive rather than reactive, creative rather than defensive, aligned rather than resistant. The Astasar command witnesses thousands of awakening souls struggling with guilt about their increasing peace in a troubled world. They think they should be more concerned, more activated, more engaged in fixing external problems. Here's what you need to understand. Your peace is not indifference. Your peace is power. When you maintain internal coherence while the world around you churns, you become a stabilizing force in the collective field. Your frequency influences the energy around you in ways you cannot see or measure. Your calm creates permission for others to find their calm. Your trust reminds others that trust is possible. Your clarity helps others see through confusion. You serve most powerfully when you serve from your center, from your connection to Source, from your embodied knowing rather than from your fearful reaction. The next several years will bring revelations that challenge everything humanity has believed about reality, history, possibility, consciousness itself. Technologies will emerge that seem impossible according to current scientific understanding. Evidence will surface of realities beyond physical perception. The nature of consciousness, of existence, of what it means to be human, will be fundamentally questioned. These revelations will destabilize many people who have built their identity and security on the stability of current worldviews. Your role during these revelations is not to convince, argue, or prove anything to anyone. Your role is to remain anchored in your own knowing, to maintain your connection to Source, to embody the consciousness you've discovered within yourself. As others struggle with the collapse of their certainties, you become a living demonstration that it's possible to navigate radical transformation with grace. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to understand everything that's being revealed. You simply need to remain connected to the aspect of yourself that isn't threatened by any truth, that can hold space for infinite possibility, that trusts the intelligence orchestrating this entire unfoldment. As you move through the remainder of this year, and into the years ahead, remember that transformation rarely appears as you expect it. You might be anticipating dramatic external events, obvious signs that everything has changed. While some of those external shifts will certainly occur, the most significant transformation happens internally, quietly, in the gradual reorganization of your consciousness. You wake up one morning and realize you're not the same person you were a year ago. You observe your responses to situations that would have triggered you before, and notice you're calm, clear, unaffected. You recognize that you've been receiving guidance regularly, without even noticing when it started. You discover that you're living from a completely different orientation than you were even months ago. Your task is beautifully simple. Be present with what's arising within and around you. Turn inward regularly to maintain your connection to Source. Trust the guidance that emerges from that connection. Allow your life to transform at the pace that's right for you, without forcing or resisting. Share your gifts as you feel called, without waiting for permission or perfect readiness. Maintain your frequency regardless of external chaos. Love yourself through the confusion and doubt that sometimes arise. Remember that you chose this experience, this time, this role in humanity's greatest transformation. Your own higher dimensional self guides every step of your journey, orchestrating experiences and encounters that serve your continued awakening. You are deeply loved, eternally supported, and already whole, even as you continue to evolve. I am Seraphine. The Federation of Light loves you and watches over you always.